What in the world is the environment doing with our hormones, and how is that affecting our lives, if it is at all? Hi, my name is Rusty Humphries. I'm the MC. She's the smart one, the brains and the beauty. Dr. Nisha Jackson is here, and we've been talking about hormones the past few shows, and learning that they really are super, super important. Most people don't even think about their hormones. I know I sure don't as much as I should. And now we're learning that hormones have an effect. We're affected by our environment. Even like the little plastic red Solo cups might have something bad in them. Is that right?
Yes. So, I was just chuckling to myself thinking about in 2003, I gave a really big lecture in Washington, D.C., to about 5,000 people. It was a very intimidating lecture to give because I lectured on xenohormones, which are environmental.
Xeno the warrior princess?
Yeah, xenohormones. It's XENO hormones, xeno. And the topic that I gave, the topic that I talked about was really explaining to the audience, which was filled with scientists and PhDs and professors. And they literally, as I was talking about xenohormones, and they're called endocrine disruptors. So it's environmental toxins that we come in contact with that go into our system, and they mimic other hormones in our body, and it disrupts our hormone balance. And, there was already really good research in 2003 showing that this is an up and coming problem. But literally, when I was up there lecturing, Rusty, they looked at me like I had lost my mind.
Oh, and that's the worst feeling, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! And I was a lot younger then, and I was so intimidated by the fact that these professors and scientists were going, "Is she nuts?" And I was quoting research and really trying to do the best job I can. Well, now that's just common knowledge, right? We've even for infants, we've even changed the plastic IV bags in hospitals for babies to glass, gone back to glass bottles.
Why was it back then so controversial? I mean, it just seems interesting that.
I think this is what we do in the world today is that we have certain things that we just become accustomed to using that are really convenient. And when someone says, hey, that's really not that good for you, like putting a cell phone up to your ear all day long or holding it on your body all day long. When someone says that's just not good for you, it's really much easier, Rusty, to look at the person and go, are you crazy? I mean, that's just a bunch of hogwash. So I think that's the issue, is that people just don't want to believe that the modern day inventions really are a problem because they're really convenient. I mean, it's super convenient to take a plastic bowl with some food in it and put some plastic wrap over it and put it in your microwave and heat it up, right?
That's bad?
That's terrible.
Why? It's just just great. It's just a quick thing for dinner, heating it up.
I'm going to back it up a little bit. First of all, our hormones run our entire body, but they do it they're supposed to do it in a perfect orchestrated balance. Like everything's supposed to be like an orchestra, perfectly in harmony and in balance with each other. All the hormones. We're talking about hormones for the thyroid, hormones for the ovaries or the testes, the sex hormones, ovaries for the adrenal gland. Hormones for the adrenal gland. So your hormones are really important to run your entire system. And the problem is that really precious balance can become disrupted by chemicals and toxins in the environment. Again, not a theory. Thousands of studies have been done on this that shows that the environmental, and actually it's written on black box warnings now. You'll see that certain plasticides and certain things that have things like BPA in them are endocrine disruptors, and it can lead to cancer.
But wait a second. I mean, don't they? Okay, I'm a company and I'm going to put something out in the market. Don't I have to go to some government agency and have a test run on it to make sure that I'm not killing people?
Yes, that has started, but that just started more recently. And unfortunately, there's a lot of toxins in herbicides and pesticides and diesel fumes and certain products that we're coming in contact with, perfumes that we put on our body, shampoo that we put on our head, lotions that we put on our body have toxins in them. And I'm going to list a few today.
Wait a second. I heard when they came out with some weed killer stuff, you can just drink that right out of the bottle and nothing's going to happen to you.
Okay, well, no, that's not true. And unfortunately...
And I don't know what kind of idiot would believe that,
Unfortunately, about 10 years ago, this became more commonplace where they really, the government did start cracking down, start making companies test levels to see if it had some of these toxins in it, but not all of them. So, and unfortunately, by the time they started arresting some of this, and it hasn't been all of it because it's still wide. All these toxins are still very widely used today in some of the healthcare, self-care products that we have. But unfortunately, by the time we got to it, some of these toxins stay alive in the body for years, decades. So the damage is still being done. And I believe, Rusty, that's why we're seeing more and more autoimmune disorders today is because of our exposure, our overexposure to these products and these toxins.
And a lot of those things hide in like fat, right? So like I'm a chemical factory here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the more weight you gain, the fat cells are actually able to harbor and store hundreds of different toxins. So it's just really it's just awful for your whole system. The xenohormone levels for men, what happens is that the xenohormones can mimic estrogen in the body. Well, I don't know how you feel about it, Rusty, but I'm pretty sure men in general do not want high estrogen and low testosterone because that's what xenohormones do is they mimic estrogen in the body.
And that's how you get like man boobies, right?
Yes, there's a lot of symptoms that puts men at risk for depression, mood swings, atherosclerosis, heart disease. It puts them at risk for problems with enlarged prostate or benign prostatic hypertrophy, where it actually is enlarged, prostate cancer, fat gain around the midsection. We don't want our men to be estrogen dominant because it leads to too many healthcare problems. We also don't want our women to be estrogen dominant. Estrogen is a growth hormone. As an adult, typically you're not interested in growing your body.
Okay.
Right? Would you agree with that? So estrogen is a growth hormone. It stimulates breast tissue. It stimulates prostate tissue. It stimulates uterine tissue. So we see all sorts of problems with estrogen dominance in women that is gynecological related. Ovarian cysts, breast cysts, irregular periods, uterine fibroids, adenomyosis. These are diagnoses that women get, and it causes them a lot of pain and problems. Men, we see problems with low testosterone and all of the symptoms that go along with low testosterone. And we see weight gain, we see depression, we see irritability. They become very emotional. Their sleep patterns become disrupted. So this is all I'm tying in here. I'm trying to tie all this together that you may be coming in contact with environmental toxins at a level that your body cannot handle.
But what kind of things am I looking out for? I mean, if it's just, environmental toxins, so I can't go in my car, I can't go drive, what should I be looking for?
Right. So here are some of the toxins that we have identified that are toxic to the human body and mimic hormones in the body that disrupts your hormone system. One of them, and the most obvious one, is BPA. We're starting to see now, I didn't bring one for this show. What we're starting to see plastic products that say on it BPA free. That's what you want. I would rather you drink from glass bottles, stainless steel bottles. I'd rather you drink from something that's not plastic, but if it's plastic, it would be great if it says BPA free. So that's really important. Dioxin is another one. Atrazine, which is a herbicide, phthalates, percolates, fire retardants, lead. There's still lead being used today. Arsenic, mercury. These are all things that we come in contact with. I mean, some of them less today than we have in the past. PFCs, certainly pesticides. people should be garbing up when they're using pesticides, or if you live close to a field that's being sprayed, we know that just the overspray that people inhale is causing problems with their endocrine system, with their hormonal system.
Wow.
Again, this sounds crazy, but we see it in the office all the time. People that come in and generations that have grown up in a similar area we start seeing the whole family gets autoimmune disorders, or a new construction where you have the fibers, in the carpet, when you move in and it has not been appropriately ventilated, even just the fibers in the carpet, the fumes from the paint, and all of the people that do construction that are constantly exposed to these chemicals. It's a real problem, Rusty, today.
Another thing you mentioned that was surprising is perfume and cologne. That's something that people need to look out for?
Yes. So I'm going to give some suggestions on this show today about what you really should be avoiding, and how do you even know what's good and what's bad? Like, where do I get this information? Because obviously there's hundreds of thousands of products out there, right?
Right.
So, okay, so I want to go through kind of some suggestions on what you should do to protect your body that's simple. Because this is a complicated subject, but I like to make things simple because I just think that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, it's just too overwhelming.
And I'll never be able to follow you if you don't go simple. So that's good for me. So good. Go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, do not use a microwave. Okay.
What?
If you could avoid,
Hold on a second. I'm a single guy. How am I going to eat? No microwave. Are you kidding?
I think it would be super cool if we just went back to what grandma did. I mean, why can't we go back? Why can't
my grandma had a microwave?
Okay, maybe great grandma. Like using glass bottles and cooking the normal way, like actually on a stove.
Okay, so anyway, what's wrong with the microwave?
But if you're going to heat in a microwave, heat in a glass bowl with no plastic on it.
Okay, so is that the bigger part, the plastic, or is it the microwave oven itself?
I think they're both a problem, but if you're going to use a microwave, heat in glass. Don't heat in plastic. That would be a good step. That's a step in the right direction. When you get into your car and your car has been heated, roll the windows down immediately. Don't sit there in your car with it boiling hot and all the fumes are circulating in your car with all the plastics. Don't do it. Ventilate. If you're moving into a new house, maybe try to move in after the house has been appropriately ventilated. So don't start cooking with cast iron instead of the nonstick pans. And I know that's a pain because then you got to clean it.
Don't start. Do start cooking with cast iron.
Do start cooking with cast iron. Stainless steel or lead-free glass cookware is another option. But you want to stay away from the lead and the nonstick coating because those have chemicals that can disrupt your hormone system. Like I said, using stainless steel water bottles instead of plastic ones, unless they say BPA free. Try to minimize the use of herbicides and pesticides around your house that then you walk in with your shoes and then you walk into your house, or you're walking barefoot, or your kids are playing out there after you've sprayed everything and they get it in their feet and then they're absorbing it through their skin. Our skin is an excellent absorber. It's an organ in our body that absorbs very well. So whatever your skin is coming in contact with it goes right into your system. Invest in a purification system. Start drinking purified water or filtered water. I think that would be really good. Try to minimize your exposure to some of these things by going to a website, which I think is fabulous. I'm very thankful for this website. It's called Environmental Working Group. The actual company is called Environmental Working Group. So the website is ewg.org, ewg.org. And this is a website where it lists all of the cosmetics, all of the body lotions, all of the shampoos and conditioners that are out there. And it tells you if they have harmful products in them that you should be staying away from. So this stuff is everywhere now, Rusty. I mean, you can get organic products, you can get BPA-free products, you can get products that don't have phthalates and other preservatives in them that are harmful for you. So this is a great website. It will list all their recommended products for the use on your body and also the use on your hair and perfumes.
Are there any companies that you like that maybe you've been to ewg.org and you went, okay, well, this company's pretty good?
No, because unfortunately, I don't like to say that because things change with companies, and so I don't really like to do that. But there's becoming more and more, which I love, responsible companies that are making responsible products. And I do think that we need to pay attention to this because I think this is just the tipping point of the entire problem. I think we're going to see more and more issues with people not being able to control their weight. People having bizarre symptoms like hormone symptoms that nobody can get a handle on, autoimmune disorders, people that are becoming very sick because they have like a toxic burden. They're being exposed to too many things. But I'm just trying to keep it simple and just saying, maybe go to the website, look at some products that you could start exchanging in your house, ventilate your car, ventilate your house, open up the windows more often. Try not to go spray your lawn and then get it on your hands. Like wear gloves, wear a mask when you're doing things like that. People that are working in an industry, like the ones that scare me the most are hair salons where they're actually getting it on the dyes and everything on their hand and they're shampooing people's heads and they're absorbing products that have all sorts of toxins in them. I mean, think about doing 15 hair, 15
appointments,
whatever. Yeah, 15 people a day and getting products on their hands. I hardly ever see people wearing gloves. So it's a concern. And some of the people that I work with that have a very what I would call a toxic overload are ones that are constantly coming in contact with products that are very unhealthy for them, that their body is absorbing right through their hands.
Interesting.
So I think these are easy things. I don't want to freak anyone out, but I want people to become aware of what they're becoming, what they're coming in contact with. Just becoming aware.
I would think that the perfume cologne thing is hard for a lot of people to swallow, but I've had cologne, you can almost taste it sometimes, so it makes sense. But that's a pretty big industry.
Yeah, it is, and it's hard for me too because I love perfume, and I love using perfume. But now there's becoming again more and more products that are out there that are responsible products that still are wonderful perfumes and lotions and creams that don't have any of the harmful toxins in them.
So you're not suggesting we have to stink to be healthy? No. Okay, good.
We don't have to stink.
Okay, good.
No. And again, one of the things that we can do that even if we're coming in contact with things is try to get as much good antioxidants in our body as we can. I'm just coming out with this new product. It's called a stick. I actually was lucky enough to get a very famous person to endorse these energy sticks.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. And no, it's not me. Who's your famous guy? Can you say yet?
I can't reveal yet, but I'm really excited because he's going to help us out a lot. These energy sticks that are wonderful, wonderful antioxidants that are excellent for brain function and energy. All you do is zip off the end of it, put it in your water bottle, shake it up, and drink it. They're really tasty. We have cream soda, we have lemon lime, and we have berry, and they're really good for you. But the antioxidants are important because what antioxidants do, these wake up your brain and give you energy, so they're excellent for that afternoon.
Are they tasty? I haven't had any yet, so they're pretty good.
They're delicious, but I like them because they wake your brain up and they wake your body up without making you feel jittery and wound up.
Now, to counteract it, if it's too jittery, would I want to make sure I had a BPA plus bottle? No. Probably not.
No.
Go for the BPA. How do I know if it's a BPA free bottle?
It will say it.
Okay.
Now, and that's part of the regulatories that have changed. It will say BPA free.
Is it most bottles now, or you still got to be pretty careful?
You got to be careful because not all of them are, because it's not mandatory that they're BPA free. So anyway, what I'm saying about the antioxidants is the more vegetables, and wash your vegetables, by the way, wash your fruits and vegetables. Do not just take them out of the package and start eating them because they have pesticides on them. Unless you're getting organic, which would be even better.
Okay.
But washing your fruits and vegetables is really important. Try to limit the amount of meat that you're eating that is not organic. I really think grass-fed organic beef and meat is very important. And eliminating some of the hormones that are used in meat. These are all endocrine disruptors. So just be really careful about that. But the more antioxidants that you get in your system, the more it will fight the free radicals that are being caused from some of these toxins and environmental toxins that we're coming in contact with.
So antioxidants. So in addition to your Nisha Jackson stick, which I haven't tried, orange juice then would be a good suggestion.
No, orange juice is a disaster because orange juice is laden with sugar and we don't want you to be drinking orange juice. So antioxidants would be basically like overloading your system with vegetables. Like and I say that because nobody really ODs on vegetables. I've actually never seen it.
Okay.
I'm sure.
But everybody does think, and we talked about this a couple shows ago, and it's one of the most fascinating things you said was OJ is a lie. That kids that we get, or that we give our kids orange juice to feel better, get the vitamin C when they're sick, and it actually makes them sicker. Right.
It reduces their natural immune system, their T cell count. So, yeah, we're not doing anybody any service when they get sick by giving them a glass of orange juice. Just don't do it. Give them one of these instead because this will help their immune system.
How do I get those?
They'll like it. They'll like it. So,
are those available yet?
We'll have these on our website soon. Okay. We're working on some branding ideas with this very famous person that I'm super stoked about. And
the Kim Kardashian stick.
No.
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 The Jay-Z stick. No.
This is somebody who's very passionate about helping people get healthy, which is right in line with how I feel. Is people deserve to know the truth and people deserve to be healthy. And it needs to be something that's simple that you can incorporate into your lifestyle and just start moving down the right path of health. It doesn't need to be crazy. It just you need to start down the right path. And that path is those things that I just talked about, and just start avoiding some of these toxins and become aware of what you're being exposed to.
Okay. Can you feel it when you're being exposed, or it just kind of is one of those things where it just happens and you don't have any idea?
Well, this is the problem. And this is the problem with even, I talk a lot about this when people enter menopause, when women enter menopause and men become testosterone deficient, called andropause. I tell them a lot. I often say you can't feel dementia and you can't feel heart disease. You can't feel osteoporosis. You can't feel that these things are happening, but they're happening. So hormone decline puts you at risk for those things, but it's an insidious onset, right, Rusty? It happens over a long period of time. So that's why I think people should be educated about what's happening to their bodies so they can be preventative. Because if we can prevent some of these things, we're going to be so much further down the road when we're 55, 65, 75. We're going to have less illnesses if we start in our 30s and 40s or earlier being preventative.
I know you're in your 30s and 40s. I'm past that. Is it something, if I'm not doing a very good job now and I wait a little while longer and I start feeling not so good, can I get the hormones fixed better, or is it like, too bad, you've passed your window?
We can balance hormones at any age, but it's more effective to head off heart disease, to head off cognitive dysfunction, memory and concentration issues. It's much easier to head off obesity and hypertension and heart disease if we start early. So that's the key. Is prevention is the key. That's what the whole medical world should be focused on, is prevention. And there are ways that people can do it, even with very few resources, financial resources, that they can still protect themselves and go down the right path as far as preventative medicine. So that's what I like to preach.
Okay. And why do you think that prevention is not the thing right now with doctors? Is it because there's no money in it? The money's in sick people and the dying people, isn't it? Or is that am I being too cynical?
I'm very supportive of medical people, and I'm very sympathetic for where the medical practice is today, medical practices are today, because we are being forced to see more and more patients in a shorter period of time because the reimbursement that's coming back is going down. Our costs to practice medicine are going up, but our reimbursement for seeing patients is going down, and it's very difficult to manage that. It's very difficult for medical providers to manage that. So what is happening, unfortunately, is we're being forced to try to figure out how to be a business genius to figure out how do you keep all the balls in the air and not go bankrupt, right? How do you do that? And even hospitals are having a hard time with this today. So what happens is that we have to see patients in a shorter period of time. Okay, I just spent 30 minutes talking about how you need to protect your body from environmental toxins. How in the world are you going to deal with patients 5 medicines they're on, 6 medical issues, and then have a nice conversation about diet, exercise, and protecting your body against environmental toxins? You can't get that done in 10 minutes.
Right.
So you can kind of see the situation. It's a little grim because we're not able to really take care of our patients the way we should. And part of it is education, just making people aware of what they're doing to their bodies. And that takes time. But
well,
again,
one of the ways you can
it's
be
all here.
I was just going there. You beat me to it. One of the ways you can be educated is the brand new book by Nisha Jackson, PhD. It's called Brilliant Burnout: How Successful Driven Women Can Stay in the Game by Rewiring Their Bodies, Brains, and Hormones. Do us a favor, would you please? Subscribe to the Nisha Jackson podcast, whether it's on YouTube channel or if it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any of the other podcast apps. They're all out there, and we're there. You can find Nisha Jackson at nishajackson.com. And we've got more shows coming up. We're going to talk more about burnout for mothers coming up soon, and we're going to talk about how to age-proof your body. And this is one of the best shows online of the 600,000 shows out there on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. This one is the best because it is cutting-edge information. What's going on right now? Nisha Jackson has got you covered. Nisha, as always, thank you very much. We sure appreciate you.
Thank you. I love this show. It's so fun for me to educate people. People deserve to know the truth.
Well, we sure appreciate you, and we appreciate you for listening. Thank you very much. My name is Rusty Humphries. She's Nisha Jackson. Go to nishajackson.com, and this is The Nisha Jackson Show.